Welcome back to Finanzergy, your go-to channel for financial advice and tips to help you build wealth. If you're new here, make sure to hit subscribe and tap the bell to never miss out on valuable financial strategies. Today, we're going to talk about a critical aspect of financial planning, the emergency fund. In an unpredictable world, having an emergency fund can be a lifesaver when things go wrong, whether it's a medical emergency, job loss, or urgent home repair. In this video, we'll walk you through how to build an emergency fund step by step, including how much you should save, where to keep it, and the best strategies to reach your goal faster. Let's dive in. 1. Why you need an emergency fund. Before we get into the details, let's first talk about why an emergency fund is so important. Unexpected expenses. Emergencies are unpredictable, and they happen when we least expect them. Whether it's a medical emergency, car repair, or job loss, having an emergency fund means you won't have to rely on credit cards or loans to cover these expenses. Financial peace of mind. Having an emergency fund provides peace of mind. Knowing that you have money set aside for unexpected situations can help reduce stress and anxiety, allowing you to focus on other financial goals. Avoiding debt. Without an emergency fund, many people end up relying on debt to cover unexpected costs. This can lead to high-interest debt and even further financial trouble. An emergency fund keeps you from falling into the debt trap. 2. How much should you save? One of the most common questions people have when building an emergency fund is, how much should I save? The answer depends on your lifestyle and financial situation, but a general rule of thumb is to save between 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Here's how to figure out the amount that works for you. Calculate your monthly expenses. Start by calculating how much you spend each month on essentials like rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, and other necessary bills. This gives you a baseline amount for your fund. Add a buffer for peace of mind. If you want to be extra cautious, aim for 6 months of living expenses. This gives you a larger cushion in case of long-term unemployment or a more significant emergency. Start small, scale up. If saving 3 to 6 months of living expenses feels overwhelming, start small. Aim for a smaller emergency fund of $1,000 and then gradually increase it over time. The key is to get started. 3. Where to keep your emergency fund. Now that you know how much to save, the next step is deciding where to keep your emergency fund. The best place to keep this fund is somewhere safe, accessible, and separate from your regular spending accounts. High-yield savings accounts. A high-yield savings account is a great option because it allows your emergency fund to grow with interest while remaining easily accessible. Look for a savings account with a competitive interest rate and no monthly fees. Money market accounts. Money market accounts are another good option. They typically offer slightly higher interest rates than regular savings accounts and are often FDIC insured, meaning your money is safe. Keep it separate. Make sure to keep your emergency fund separate from your checking or spending accounts. You don't want to be tempted to dip into it for non-emergencies. Consider setting up a separate account just for your emergency savings. 4. How to build your emergency fund. Building your emergency fund may take time, but with the right strategies, you can get there faster than you think. Here are some tips to help you reach your goal. Set a realistic target. Set a target amount for your emergency fund based on the calculations we talked about earlier. Break this target into smaller, achievable milestones. For example, if your goal is $6,000, aim to save $500 a month for the next 12 months. Automate your savings. One of the best ways to build an emergency fund is to automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your emergency fund account every time you get paid. This way, you won't forget to save, and you'll build your fund consistently. Cut back on non-essential expenses. To accelerate your savings, look for areas where you can cut back on spending. This might mean reducing discretionary spending on things like dining out, entertainment, or impulse purchases. Every little bit counts when building your fund. Find ways to increase your income. Consider taking on a side hustle, freelance work, or finding other ways to earn extra money. Use this additional income solely for building your emergency fund so it grows faster. 5. What to do once you've built your emergency fund. Once you've reached your goal and have a fully funded emergency fund, you may wonder, what next? Here are some ideas to keep your financial situation secure. Reassess your budget. Once your emergency fund is in place, reassess your budget to ensure that you are allocating enough money toward other financial goals, like paying off debt or investing for retirement. Keep the fund accessible. While it's important not to dip into your emergency fund for non-emergencies, make sure it's still accessible in case something happens. Emergency funds are meant for true emergencies, not for vacation or shopping sprees. Consider adding more to your fund. Once you have the basics covered, consider increasing your emergency fund to cover additional expenses, like healthcare costs or larger home repairs. This way, you'll be even more prepared for the future. And that's how you build a solid emergency fund, by following these steps, knowing how much to save, where to keep it, and how to build it efficiently. You can protect yourself and your family from unexpected financial setbacks. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Having an emergency fund is one of the smartest things you can do for your financial future. Start saving today, and you'll be prepared for whatever comes your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.